What's up, everybody? It's ImmaLetYouFinish, show number 201 on the Pantheon Podcast Network with your host, Court and Amy. I know you were wondering where we were last week. We were off in search of, we were doing detective work. We were in search of all of the good things that Eric Adams said he's done for us in the city. So we were doing detective work. It took a whole week for us searching. And we did find out.
And then our phones were seized by the FBI, right?
Yeah, they were. But we did find out really good things, like if you put trash bags in a trash can, then maybe the rats can't get them.
Oh my God!
It was like do you know he paid some firm a gazillion dollars to basically say, you know, what will help with the rats is take the trash off the floor. It was so groundbreaking, groundbreaking.
You know what the best thing about, if you want to know, if you ever doubt that there's a sense of humor in the news business, obviously we're going to talk about the Puffy arrest, Diddy, Puffy, whatever. But the picture they showed on MSNBC of the 9 million pictures that exist of Sean Combs, they showed the picture of him getting the key to the city for Eric Adams. So it was like a twofer.
It was totally like a
there's
twofer.
Like a 9 million pictures of Puffy and 9 million, and it wasn't even a story about Eric Adams. It was a story about Puffy. But the picture they kept showing was Puffy holding up to the key to the city and Eric Adams cheesing up like a motherfucker on the side. And I called Courtney up. I went, they just killed two criminals with one stone.
They got them both. They were like, this picture says everything we need to say right here.
Everything we say. Here's the state of, they're both trapped in New York for a while, aren't they? Well, anyway, I heard Puffy was arrested. Is this true?
I don't know. Could it be? Is it a rumor? I'm not quite sure.
Well, all right. I'm no legal. I mean, like you, I get all my legal information from Law and Order and British television. But I think he's done. I think this is a done deal. It's alleged, obviously, alleged. But this is the Southern District of New York that does not play.
And they rarely lose. That is what people need to understand about that court. No matter what you think, and I've been hearing so many people say, this is what we do. We fly people out. And I heard people we fly bitches, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
This feels different. First of all, we only know the surface. We don't know their full case. And I don't think we will ever know their full case.
No.
Because I have been telling everyone there will not be a trial. No,
not at all. They can't let it be a trial.
They will not. His lawyers are going to try to make a deal.
How come he doesn't have those, aren't there, where are those guys that were always, the hip-hop mobster lawyers? This is, a new guy on the scenes. Are they dead? Are they retired? You know what I mean? There's, the five guys that were,
we would always see.
Bronfman and some guy with an Italian name. They were, the hip-hop lawyers. Are they just gone now? Or, or not just hip-hop, the celebrity New York lawyer. Yeah, again, the charges are so nauseating. I mean, it's just so nauseating. And again, he just has, and everybody's doing their looking for clues in this and looking for clues in that. I honestly, the one thing that does bother about me is I don't need everybody's latent homophobia to be coming out now and talking about.
God, right? Yeah, that's.
I don't care if he was. I don't care if he was having sex or having sex with men. This is not a case about sex, really. It's a case about coercion and violence.
That is the thing. You know what I mean? And the sex trafficking can come it's one thing if you're hiring sex workers, I guess, locally. But if you're flying sex workers from states to states with different sort of things and paying, fun fact, it's still illegal in most states. So
it's illegal. It's illegal. Hold on. I think it's illegal in all states.
Well, it's not in Nevada, right?
Okay.
Nevada is still but it's so that aside, I think it's more about everything in totality. You know, there's been intimidation of people when people forget there was that thing a while ago. Do you remember that woman when he got arrested years ago? That woman who I guess was at one of the, if I hear one more straight news person being like freak offs. I mean, I've heard freak off. I've heard freak off more times.
I'm like freak off, and freak offs has become the new wilding, where I have to hear everybody say
like freak off. But don't you remember there was that case of the woman who said they would not let her leave? Do you remember that story? And then she was like burned with cigarettes, and it was crazy.
Is that
stuff.
her
She
or Kelly? I get my sex criminals mixed up.
But I think it's coming down to situations like that, people being threatened with all kinds of things. Listen, I don't believe there'll be a trial because he's facing right now with these charges. Some of them hold life in prison, right?
Right.
He's not going to want that. But what I think is the bigger thing is, yes, we can all be like, publicly he's probably done, even though he's got his circle who still defend him. But I don't think they're going to want a trial. First of all, for the feds to have come in, there have to be people who are on his side who will be witnesses for them. Because by the time they come and they arrest you, they're coming with the case. I don't think he's going to want a bunch of people, one after another, on the stand, really breaking down all of the shit that they were doing. He's got kids, he's got daughters. Like, I think there's enough that people are making up because it's all left to the imagination. But for people to sit on the stand one after another for a trial that will probably be months long and start talking about all of those things, I just don't think he's going to want that. And they're going to try to cut a deal.
Especially since, I mean, from our vast knowledge of the law, from watching Law and Order and other shows, I mean, it's all you need is like two women or men up there starting to cry, talking about what he did. And it's like prejudicial. And the lawyer's going to go, yeah, he's going to cut a deal. He's going to do time. He's going to do time.
Yeah, he'll probably absolutely do time. But he's going to want time over life.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
But, and again, no one is... like I said, the case is horrible. It's just, the charges are disgusting. They're stomach turning. But I just need everybody to stop with their homophobic nonsense. Just stop. Yeah. I don't care who the guy had sex with. What I care about is that he forced whoever he had sex with to have sex with him. And that's really, but I do think, I mean, everybody's being very, very quiet, except for some people who feel like they want to insert themselves into the story all the time. I don't know. If I were even peripherally involved in this, I would, you notice that most people are keeping their mouths shut.
You want to know why? Because, another thing is, they have all of those tapes. Can you imagine? They have to put that in evidence.
Sure.
And play some of that in open court.
Right.
He is never going to want that kind of stuff being played in open court.
No, of course not.
And there are a lot of people who are quiet because they're like, am I on any of these tapes? Do you know how many people are probably worried? Am I on? Because he taped everything. Had cameras all over his house. So people, I'm sure there are a lot of motherfuckers being like, am I anywhere on these tapes? Are people going to see my face? You know, there's so much that I think could be damaging, even more damaging to his reputation, which is why I think ultimately, even though of course his lawyers have to say right now he is innocent, that's what you have to keep fighting for. But ultimately behind the scenes, if you know that they have a bunch of shit for real, you need to try to save your client.
Yeah, they don't believe. Yeah, they don't do this. Like you said, they don't level these kind of charges on a celebrity with endless resources just because it's a Tuesday. They have been working on this for quite some time. He knew it was coming, but yeah, I hope he brings Bill Maher down with him. That would be really great.
I'm really gagged that each time he didn't get probation. I thought when they went back in front of the judge the second time, parole. Sorry, parole. I thought absolutely okay. Well, they'll give him parole, and when they did it, I was like, oh, that's when it took a really. It was already serious to me, but that's when it took that turn of me saying, oh, this is. This is some real. This
You're
is
treating
some
him like El Chapo, man. They're not letting. They're not, and he's in the same prison that El Chapo was. I do enjoy, and then we'll move. I do enjoy it. It's horrible conditions. Guess what? That's why they call it prison. He wanted to go to some I don't know where do you want to go? Like Mar-a-Lago? Where's he think he's going to go? You're in prison, motherfucker. You're going to prison.
Yeah, it's not a resort.
It's not going to be pretty. I know is
it's not St. Bart's.
Exactly. I have mixed feelings about the woman, and I always have, but I think the nation owes Wendy Williams a debt of gratitude.
Let me just tell you something. Let me just say this. Wendy Williams is really messy, right? She's really messy. But at the same time, she was run out of New York City by this man because of the shit she's been saying. She was saying at this point for decades, because this is when she was on the radio, she was talking about the shit that he was doing.
Yep.
And everybody, laughed, ha ha, kiki, ka ka ka, ba 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 ba. And this is and it's also an example for people who are like, well, I don't know why people didn't think that. He was really powerful. He literally
he
got
drove her to Philly. He got
out of New York City.
And she was saying this stuff
for years.
Right, edges of home, whatever. But the point is that when people say, why isn't anybody saying? Well, somebody was saying it on a nationally televised.
On the radio. She was
right. But on radio. I mean, not Hot 97's national, right?
Was it back then? It was Tri-State. I don't know. But she was syndicated.
Big enough.
But she's had a syndicated show that went across.
And her career took a major hit. She was viewed as a laughing stock.
Got run out of New York City. From now, people were afraid for their careers, and their livelihoods.
I mean, she's definitely messy, and we know that, and I know she's very ill. But I have to say, at the end of the day, I'm now of the belief that if Wendy Williams or 50 Cent is saying it, I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
He knows that.
He's another one who's been saying shit about him for decades.
Yeah.
He's been saying stuff about him and he just sold he's doing a docuseries on him and all of this shit, and he sold it to Netflix.
Oh, luscious. It's going to be... I have to start popping popcorn now. Mm-hmm. Well, Janet... All right. Janet, listen.
This one hurts me to the core.
This one hurt me to the core, too. Now, I don't believe in the shut up and dribble at all. If you're an entertainer, you're a sports figure, you are a citizen as well, and you have every right to voice your opinion. Now, should people be influenced by that opinion? Probably not, because they have their own individual. And Janet Jackson, out of all the celebrities, grew up in a bubble. I mean, a bubble on a bubble. She grew up in a somewhat culty religion and a bubble and a Jackson, and she's been... Okay, so Janet Jackson, who is still working this greatest hits tour, bless her heart... I mean, no disrespect, but wasn't she supposed to put out an album?
She was.
Okay, I'm just checking. I just want to make sure. Okay, just making it's coming any day now.
Yeah, it was.
It's coming any day now.
Announced the whole thing. It was called Black Diamond. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Black Diamond, right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so she was interviewed by The Guardian, great source, and she doesn't live in the United States, but she is a United States citizen. And she was asked about many things, but talked about the prospects of having a black female president. And Janet, who has QAnon clearly in her ear, or Brandy supposedly is kind of out there too, her brother, said, well, I heard she's white, that Kamala Harris is not black. So when I read that, at first I thought, well, maybe she thinks that but I couldn't figure out where she was going to, because the whole idea is that she just certainly turned black. Obviously,
I thought it was a pull quote, and that I wasn't getting the full thing. I was like,
and then I read it.
A friend of mine sent it to me. I was like, this is some weird pull quote that's completely taken out of context. And then I read it, and I was like,
But what's hilarious? Well, it's not hilarious. It's pathetic. Number one, she has been the victim and seen her brother, Michael, be the victim of colorism and comments about race. So you would think she'd be sensitive and not say something stupid. Number two, one would think even if she's not a genius, she didn't go to school, we know all this stuff, no entertainers that kid entertainers do, that she would maybe read a paper, especially overseas. Number three, I heard that she didn't really lose that weight, Courtney, that she had ribs taken out. Remember?
And I heard that she had a secret baby, and that she had given a baby to her sister.
She had a baby, right? That she had James DeBarge's baby and had Rebe.
Right.
I've heard that she was not actually married to Renee Elizondo, that they just pretended. I heard, so for her to sit there, and what's crazy,
is that she has a mixed race biracial child?
Yes.
And half of her nieces and nephews are. She knows how this works.
She knows how this works.
Or how about this? Kamala Harris is the sitting vice president of the United States. And it was a big deal when that happened, because we were like, wow, we have a first black and female vice president of the United States.
And Asian.
So it's like, I just don't understand the feigned ignorance. And then we get somebody who, I guess, was a manager or not a manager, who makes the statement apologizing. Then it gets pulled back like, this wasn't approved. This person doesn't have the right to speak for me, and I'm not taking back whatever. And it's like, you have put your foot all the way in something that was quite easy for you to resolve.
Yeah, all you had to say was, "Oh, wow, I can't believe I thought that. I'm so sorry." No, she's pulling the Republican card, which is say something stupid and then dig the hole deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, luckily, please, gays, don't come at me. She's somewhat irrelevant in a lot of ways. She's a great performer, but she's not actively making music. She's a legend. She's iconic. Blah 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 blah. But this is not going to impact her sales. This is not going to impact her tour. This is not going to impact anything. It was just an asinine, it's just an unbelievably stupid, uninformed response.
I'm like, so this is the hill you want to die on?
Well, this is the hill she's going to die on.
This is a black woman. She's a black and Asian, South Asian woman.
Yeah.
It is not that complicated.
No, it's not that complicated.
And we all have Google and Bing and Yahoo search engines. It's really easy to search. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Okay. And let's just say for sake of argument, which member of Kamala Harris's family was she negating? Was it that she's not black because she has a white father, or she's not black because she has a white? Who cares? Last time I looked, Barack Obama was black and had a white mother. So she's saying that she's Southeast Asian and white. So she's acknowledging the mother is a woman of color, but because the father, who there are pictures of, who was born, who looks pretty black to me. Yeah, it's a stupid statement, and you know what? She's a stupid woman, and willfully stupid if she's corrected and then still refuses to.
The fact that they let this go, I mean, it is everywhere. It's like, so you want to be, you're in the top, just every paper, every magazine, and the fact that you're letting this happen and go on, as someone who's been in show business since you were 8 years old, your team doesn't know how to clean this up.
Well, who's her team now? That's what I'm saying.
Clearly.
If her team is the Jackson brother, nobody cares, and then, my issues with Whoopi Goldberg, but Whoopi Goldberg lives to defend the powerful,
Well, and what she actually said was, I'm going to give her some grace because she's mourning her brother who died.
Sorry. I'm mourning because my brother.
What she also said is, I'm a person who often steps in it and understands how. So I kind of got her trying to sympathize.
No, she didn't step in it. She answered a question, was misinformation, was told it's not correct, and refused to correct herself. I'm sorry Tito died. We all love Tito.
Yeah.
But come on. You don't get to having a dead relative does not give you the right to be a stupid a dumbass.
You know how much I love Janet Jackson. She is my black princess. But even I have been like,
are you sure she's black? Because I heard one of her parents were white. I don't know that. I mean, do you have pictures? Because I think Catherine was actually white. Have you actually looked at a picture of Catherine lately?
I literally just kept. I was just like,
no, she's a dumbass.
I was like,
Aren't her nieces? Aren't half of her nieces and nephews white as well, or biracial?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Like all of Tito's kids, I believe, are biracial. All of Jackie's kids are biracial. All of Jermaine's kids are biracial.
No. I want to say Jermaine's first kids with Hazel. All right. No, but let me just say this.
All of Michael's kids were biracial.
I mean, I'm just kind of saying, do you know how hard it is for me? Do you? Do you know to see all of my girls going nuts? First I have Madonna, who I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on there. Now I have Janet. Like, Kylie and Grace are my only two who are really just not being disappointing.
Janet's not nuts. Janet's just stupid. I'm sorry. It's a stupid statement. And what you do is, I know, like I said, it's a stupid statement. And what you do is say, oh, my bad, I had misinformation, and move on.
Right.
Meanwhile, Eminem has endorsed. Well, Eminem, it's just a brief item. He endorsed Kamala Harris, which is not that surprising because he's always been a Democrat without maybe saying it. He voted against Trump. He supported Obama. He was supporting Biden-Harris when Biden was the top of the ticket. Yeah. No. He did an anti-Trump song many years ago.
Oh, okay.
A whole song about fuck Trump, basically. Mm-hmm. With him stomping around. It was a big protest song, and he got a lot of heat from his. And I think Eminem, I mean, he's not a super public person for someone who is public, but boy, if anybody could ever sway, because his audience is kind of MAGA in a lot of ways, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
And he is the MAGA. He is a white, lower middle class guy from he is check. And if he wanted to, and he might, we don't know. I mean, he's very high profile, and he's one of those, I don't like rap music, but, but he's endorsed her, which is great. And so Hayley Williams, do you listen to Paramore? I mean, I know who they are. I've never really listened to them.
I know people who love them. I don't really listen to them. Maybe I need to start listening to them because evidently they're like a thing.
No, they're definitely a thing, and she's particularly a thing, Hayley Williams. I mean, she's one of those people that people. Actually, she was on that remix with Eminem, and who was that guy that was like hot for a minute and then went away? B.O.B. Remember him?
Oh yeah, I liked him. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it turned out he was like some kooky hearing voices from beyond kind of kooky person. But he was good. That's how Bruno Mars got started with B.O.B. and stuff. Well, anyway, she just flat out got up there on stage, and it was like, okay, and now. As I'm singing one of my hits, I will now proceed to read Trump for filth. And she was flat out. And of course, the MAGA people there was a script. They forced her to do it. They can't accept these people
And what she said was, yes, I wrote it down and had one of my people holding up. She said, but I didn't need it because it was really important. And I remembered what I wanted to say.
And it's great.
The thing that I find funny about them complaining about that is they never complain when it's somebody going against, going on their side having something to say. My thing is, listen, you guys play a dirty game, you win dirty prizes. You want it dirty? Dirty is dirty. Like, I'm tuned out to all of this because I know who I'm going to vote for. So I don't need to hear all of the back and forth and the screaming and all of the opinion pieces. Like, it was such a big story when the head of the Teamsters said, we're not endorsing anybody, and he spoke at the Republican National Convention and was upset that he wasn't asked to speak at the DNC. Now, the flip side is a lot of the individual Teamsters unions are like, we don't agree with that, and they've actually been endorsing the Harris Waltz ticket, including the Black Teamsters Union and a lot of the Teamsters unions in the battleground states. So listen. I tell people, just vote. And what's really more important is you need to vote for these down ballot races. That's where it's really important. And your local races are, we say it every time at election time. Like, we're not telling you this is who you need to vote for, but you need to understand.
I will tell you who to vote for.
I know you will. I will always say this, and then we'll move on. the down ballot races are really the most important for your everyday living. You don't think that community board member and all of those city council seats in your cities and your mayors, and those are the ones who are really absolutely affecting your everyday life. It is really important that you show up. As I had a friend say to me the other day, I don't think either candidate is great. Okay, cool.
Who are these people that you were friends with?
And I said to this one person, I said, listen, one is a criminal. You know what I mean? It's
there you go. End of
one
story.
is a criminal. So to me, that changes a lot of dynamics in that argument. And two, you need to make sure you vote, because all of those down ballot things, you're worried about what's happening in your neighborhood and all that. Those down ballot races are it. So make sure you're registered to vote and just vote.
You have to October 24th to register, because I've been handing out registration forms to my kids. Yeah. To my students. I've been all right. I think we're finally done with Katy Perry and Grateful Nation size. All right, I'm not saying this to be mean. I really not. I think Teenage Dream is a great song. She's had a couple of great songs. Mm-hmm. Fireworks is annoying just because I have had to hear a million little girls sing it at graduation. It's like the white version of I Believe I Can Fly. I cannot take it. Oh my God,
do you remember what I Believe I Can Fly was it? Or
every event that Lucian had in elementary school was the Black National Anthem, which is fine, and I Believe I Can Fly.
Every talent show growing up for me, there was somebody was singing.
I Believe I Can Fly.
No, I was too. I was an adult for that. That was Home from the Wiz. Home from the Wiz is like the Black talent show staple. And I Believe I Can Fly became the graduation song.
No, the graduation.
For the ages.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I've never found Katy Perry appealing as a human being. I've always found something forced about her. I thought I Kissed a Girl was just so stupid in this cutesy, bi-curious bullshit. But, she did have some, as the kids say, bangers. I lost kind of all respect for her when she married Russell Brand, because
which was weird as fuck. It was
weirdest. No, I think it was she thought he was interesting, And
then he dumped her via text message right before one of her shows.
He's also not a good person, Russell Brand. I mean, he's totally QAnon, MAGA, weirdo. Another one of these people is I stopped doing drugs, hence I must become crazy.
And I love that he always wants to talk about American politics. I'm like, you're not American and you don't live here. You're not American. Yeah, I don't care what you think.
Yeah, we really don't care what you think. Go home and button your shirt, by the way.
With your 15 prime ministers in 2 years.
Yeah, just go home. Go home and vote for Brexit, which you clearly did. All right, well, anyway, she has been staging a comeback. I haven't even bothered listening to the record. The first single flopped. I mean, and not even flopped. I mean, these are the type of reviews that just from a purely, it's like you read them going, oh my God, this is like the bombing of a city. She was not popular on, what's she on? Not America's Got Talent.
Well, she was on Idol. She was there for 6
but she
years.
wasn't she was known as kind of being, I don't know. She's just someone who I've never been a huge fan of, but she's in a difficult position because she is a woman of a certain age and she's still making these kind of faux feminist.
Well, it's pop music, right?
Yeah, but faux feminine. But the thing is, you can't preach feminism when you're working with a man who has been credibly accused of sexual abuse, and even though he was not found liable, the stink is on him. And every other woman who worked with him came out in support of Kesha and everybody. One of the reasons Doja Cat had problems in the beginning is because she had worked with Dr. Luke, and Doja Cat's, well, that's a whole other conversation. But the songs were still hits, right? It's different. Right, no, but Katy Perry...
It seemed like people were ready to not like her. So it was first of all, this is the third album in the row that's underperformed, right? We had Witness, which underperformed, Smile in 2020, which underperformed, and now but this one, the reviews have been
brutal,
vicious.
And fun, but fun in their brutalness. I think she has tick, tick, boom. I mean, I think it's done.
I also think it's her
husband makes a lot of money, so he can do another Lord of the Rings. Isn't he in Lord of the Rings?
This is a woman who literally was fighting nuns for a property, and one of the sisters stood up and actually dropped dead in the courtroom.
Oh, cool. That's
so
great.
It's kind of I mean, it feels like a lot of piling on, but at the same time, if it feels like we're watching the end of someone's kind of recording career.
Well, I mean, and again, it's a competitive business. Listen, this is the year of the sassy, smart girl. She didn't come sassy. She didn't come smart.
The lyrics are really bad on this record.
They're really stupid and insipid. They feel like AI.
Beats on there, but the lyrics are really bad on this record.
They're really, and she's never been. Listen, she's not Joni Mitchell. No one's going to her for lyrics, but they all seem like her lyrics seem like those things you put up on the walls, those flags that people, with the like live, love, and light. Mm-hmm. Or she's become like the embodiment of breathe.
Oh God.
She's been. I hate saying aged out, but if she'd come back with a great record, people would have gone for it. They would have embraced it. It would have been, Kylie Minogue had the biggest record of her career in her 50s. So it's not an age thing. And I also think Katy Perry is one of those people that nobody's rooting for. I think that she has...
That's where you hit it on the head. It's that right there. It's right there. The Dr. Luke thing did her in.
Right.
Yes, I know he is part of... Most of her huge hits are Dr. Luke songs, but that did her in. And when she did the first interview on the Call Me Daddy podcast,
right,
when she was asked about it, she should have had a better answer. It was like, this is all manifesting of me. She could have, I would have liked it more if she was honest, saying, listen, he did most of my big hits. I know he did some wrong things.
Right.
We talked about it. People can understand if you come clean, but when you kind of skirt around it and you're making it out to be like, it's my mantra, this is all me, and then
this is my truth that I then handed over to a man who was accused of sexual assault.
It's like, lady,
was Max Martin not available?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
whatever happened to Stargate, by the way?
They're still around.
Stargate.
Like, Stargate and Max are still around. Listen,
Max, I know.
Making choices about who they want to work with because they can't. It just felt tone deaf.
Very tone deaf.
And now she's paying the price. And with that, let's take a break and we'll be right back.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you ever thought about something new you'd love to learn? As adults, it's easy to get caught up in the daily grind, and sometimes we forget to make time for new experiences. Remember when we were kids and learning was part of everyday life? Now it feels like we're always in work mode. But what if we could tap into that curiosity again? Whether it's learning how to garden, picking up a new language, or finally beating your friend in your fantasy football league, there's so much out there to explore. Therapy can help you reconnect with that childlike sense of wonder. I know for me, therapy has been a great way to learn about myself, set healthy boundaries, and develop positive habits. It's not just for times of crisis. It's about growing and becoming the best version of yourself. I know I am more in tune with both my positive self, which I highlight, and my negative self, which I'm working to minimize since I began working with my BetterHelp therapist. If you've been thinking about starting therapy, BetterHelp is a great option. It's fully online, so it's convenient, and it fits around your schedule. You'll fill out a quick questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time with no extra charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Pantheon today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/Pantheon.
And we're back.
Okay, I have another breaking news story for you.
Okay.
You sit. Every time Candace and I talk, we start to go, you sitting down? Nicki Minaj is a mean bitch. There. End of show. Not allegedly. All right, so the reason we're saying it this time, because she does nothing but mean things. And I used to be a fan in the early days, when she sort of presented herself. All right, so there have been a huge amount of corporate layoffs at a lot of labels. That's another discussion in terms of whether labels had it coming, whatever. I mean, that's a whole show unto itself. But when people lose their jobs, unless it's like Trump not getting elected, okay? But when people lose their jobs, it's not just the executives making $1 million a year. It may be the receptionist. It may be the guy or whoever
the assistant. It's the coordinator. It's the person
intern.
Who's doing the people who did artist services all got laid off. The people who were doing travel and coordinating stuff.
So it's not just like, Julie Green, and we're not celebrating that. Anyone who celebrates someone losing their job and making jokes like, oh, you can come for UPS is hiring, that's just nasty and mean-spirited. And you know what? She's not a nice person. I mean, I think, does she make good music? Yeah. She's successful? Yeah. But she has proven herself. It was just mean. It's just mean to say that, no matter what you think of record companies. But may I say, Craig Kallman, oh my God. Listen, yay for him.
Right.
Yay for him.
He's the only one from that regime really to survive.
I'm looking through the names going, I have no idea who any of these people are.
But he seems to be able to survive with a bump up. Listen.
With a bump up.
Go get it.
Yeah, go get it. So
listen,
the issues with labels, that's a whole other conversation. But I just think you have to be a special kind of just awful to celebrate people losing jobs. First off, we all know that every one of the muckety-muck executives is going to get a job someplace else. I mean, do you think that, Kevin Lyles quit. He wasn't fired, right?
Quit, but my question is,
I think he got out before the bloodbath.
Well, did he get out? Was he pushed out? See, you know what I mean? That's one of those things where it's like,
But he's not going to end up on welfare.
No.
These guys always,
he won't end up. Julie Greenwald won't. There's a lot of the names that you see who are wealthy people. They're not.
Maybe Leor will bring him. Where's Leor now? YouTube? Where's
Leor now? Somewhere, maybe.
Yeah. The point is that those people will be fine. Not that they deserve to lose their jobs either.
But there are people.
It's the underlings.
And there's no jobs at other labels for them. It's not like in the early 90s where, you got laid off from here, you might go get a job at Sony, you might get a job at Universal. They've all been laying off all of those positions as well. So it's like people got laid off from radio. There's no radio job anywhere. You're not going to another company and getting a radio job. You got laid off from artist services here. There's no artist services job at Sony or Universal or Def Jam or any other places. It's kind of like what you're seeing is a whole bunch of people who just got pushed out of the music industry. When I got laid off from Sony, I didn't find another label job. Again, I went from Sony to MTV and then into management. There was no other label job for me at that time. And then I went to Music World, which was, a management company and a label imprint, but there was no other label job. So I know people who've had to, in these last few rounds of layoffs, have had to cut people from their departments. And there are people still looking for work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, you don't celebrate people losing their jobs. Unless it is, like I said, you don't, unless Donald Trump. Okay, that's
different.
And
not everybody at a record label is bad. I understand the absolute issues with labels and how they've kind of given up everything for TikTok, which is crazy to me, right? Like, they don't do any artist development anymore. You're signing these viral records and then you realize, these people aren't real artists. It's not lasting for a long time. Right, because it's hard to be an artist, and artist development is really important. And also having a marketing plan is really important for an artist to help them in working a record. Sometimes it's not automatic. Look at Chapel Roan. Chapel Roan is homegrown fan base. That album has been out for a year. You know what I mean? It takes time for a lot of things. But if you want to just have no development of an artist and just think, how many followers do they have here? Yeah, you're going to end up with all of these records tanking and you guys not having any idea to promote them. So I understand the frustration that artists have with certain labels. But I also understand the flip side is, where's the marketing plan? And some of these artists need better managers, because I have friends who are managers and on the artist side, and I hear the horror stories. I'm like, who is managing you? Who's making certain decisions? Why is the money being spent the way it's being spent? So that's when my management head comes on, and it's like, this isn't being done properly because the way the music is delivered is different. But the fundamentals of how to work music is the same, you know? But you're right. It's like celebrating people losing their job sucks.
It's awful.
Because there are a lot
awful.
of good people who really want to do good work, and that's how they feed their family. So trying to act like that's a good thing, it's weird. And she does weird things. It's hard for me to like her with that kind of shit, you know?
Well, I don't like, like I said, it's a check.
And you used to really like her. You did.
I used to, when she first came out, Bust magazine, which is a woman forward, feminist, great man. People were held in because she was a breath of fresh air. And if she, to this day, if she did nothing else but that verse on Monster, she earned her place. And I have no patience for women who don't like women. Zero. I'm not saying that all your friends, but women who actively go out at me. And the thing she did to Miley Cyrus was kind of hilarious. I'll give her that. Mm-hmm. But she's just, there's a mean-spirited about her. She's a hugely successful mother, wife, businesswoman, artist. That was an unnecessary and gratuitous thing to say that served no purpose. And luckily for her, it's a 24-hour news cycle, and she said something stupid, and one day later, Janet tried to figure out if we have a black vice president. So luckily for her. And she's an idiot. All right, Jay-Z is doing, what is he now? He has a deal.
Well, he's
going to
trying,
be buying up a lot of,
Well, they're going to be giving some licenses, 3 licenses for downstate casinos.
Gambling? Okay.
For casinos. And they really want one. He's part of a group that really wants one in Times Square. And they're putting this bid in. Oh, good Lord. And there's been
good Lord.
pushback from the Broadway community, a lot of community centers. So now he's part of this group, and they're pledging $250 million and a percentage of profits from the casino, from gambling, that'll go back to communities, like the grants and services and things for the community. Now,
is this the thing with Mike Rubin that he's doing?
Well, they opened up. I don't know if Mike is part of. I know they opened up the Fanatic Sport book, and he's part of that. I don't know if Mike Rubin is part of this, but I do know that. Listen, I know that. I don't know why I'm always skeptical when people come back, and we're doing this for the community, because it's like, what does that mean actually? Who's controlling what goes to the community? How do we physically get to see this? I feel like we never, ever, ever, ever get all of the community things when they tell us they're doing things for the community, right? You know, they sold Google that space on the West Side Highway, and they built the new building, and it was supposed to come with a new school and affordable housing. They built the Google building. They built the high-end stuff. You know what has not been built? The school.
Barclays was sold the same way.
And the affordable housing. So the community got fucked. When they built Hudson Yards, they were also supposed to put in this whole section that was going to be affordable housing and everything. So all of the expensive mall went up. The place where CNN is moved has gone up. All of the high-end apartments have gone up. You know what's not there? The affordable stuff. So I always feel like that is what it gets sold to us on the front end, but the community always ends up shafted. So I don't know. Do we need a casino in Times Square? I actually don't care. Times Square is already a big tourist area.
Yeah, but here's my thing. If you're going to do a casino, and I have no problems with a casino.
Yeah, I have no problems with the casino.
No, put it someplace less congested. Why don't you put it, because people are going to gamble, are going to travel if they want to go. Isn't there one in Queens right now?
There is the one in Queens. Yeah, but so they want one in Manhattan.
All right, but I just feel like put it someplace less congested and where there is a community. Like,
well, no, because nobody's going to want it in their neighborhood, right? People aren't going to want it in their neighborhood.
Why are they going to want it?
Well, people don't. But Times Square already is full of tourists and all of that thing. So I can kind of see it there. I understand why that would be a place where they would put it.
Maybe move it a little more over to the west side. I just think in terms of congestion and whatever. Right. But yeah, the community is just sort of like, what does that mean? It's a very empty phrase.
Right.
I mean, in a perfect world, they would have to build the schools and fund and give money to the community first. And I'm sure Eric Adams has his lunch hooks all over this.
Yeah, because listen, right? They say that the dollars will help with, the tax dollars that have come in for that will help with so many things. But that's what we heard about legal weed. And it's like, what's going on with any of that tax money that they collected?
They screwed it up.
They did in the beginning, but now once they started closing all of the illegal shops,
I know.
Supposedly now all of these millions are coming in because everybody's going to the legal dispensaries.
Oh, good.
But where's what has been happening with that money, right? I feel like it always goes into, we're always sold these things of this is going to happen, but there's never a follow-up story like, well, here's what happened. This money came from this, and we're seeing it actually in our
they're going to have a
communities.
casino in Midtown. They're going to have to pump up the subways because those people are going to be coming in on. All right. Okay, you and I have both discussed the fact that the Smiths passed us by. I like Johnny Marr, and one of the reasons for me I didn't pay attention to the Smiths is that I could not stand the sound of Morrissey's voice. Mm-hmm. He sounded like every bad British. I couldn't stand the sound of his voice, but Johnny Marr's an amazing guitar player. Morrissey is a internationally recognized jerk. His politics are appalling. This is not alleged. He has always had appalling politics. He makes vegetarians look bad. Anyway, so in this age of people throwing a lot of money at a lot of groups to get back together, Morrissey said that Johnny Marr, who actively tours, he'll be playing the Paramount. Well, they both tour, but Johnny Marr.
Are you going to go see him?
No. Honestly, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, if someone gives me a ticket, I'll go see him. Someone I know works there. I think I'm holding out to see Fontaine's DC. I'd be interested to see what they're like, but I might. Anyway, first off, the original Smiths will never get back together because Andy Rourke passed a couple of years ago. But three-quarters of the Smiths could get back together. All right, so Morrissey is saying that that they were offered $1 gazillion to do a 2025 tour, and Johnny Marr ignored the email. Johnny Marr said, no, he didn't ignore it. He just said no. He just said, I don't want. I did not ignore it.
That's the best
I just
part.
don't want to do it.
No, I saw it.
No, I didn't ignore it. Yeah, I saw it. I got your call. I saw her call. And then he said that Johnny Marr has recently trademarked the Smiths to, quote, protect the legacy. Now, Morrissey is like, I would say in this, of the two people who's the most reliable, I go with Team Johnny Marr on this. Mm-hmm. All right, so Morrissey reached out to Morrissey in 2018, got no response about trademarking the name. Mm-hmm. And so he just registered the trademark himself. And then in January 2024, he gave Morrissey, he said, I will assign you joint ownership of this name and this trademark, so it's not all me. But Morrissey hasn't signed the document yet. So you're like, what are you complaining about? You were told, no, I don't want to tour. And you won't sign the document. It's like I'm getting divorced. Why won't you divorce me? Well, the papers are sitting right in front of you. Just sign the goddamn papers.
It's very much like they've been on your desk for 3 years, ma'am.
They've been on your desk for 3 years. Just sign it. I mean, again, I don't know either one of these guys, but judging by the fact that Johnny Marr is constantly jumping up on stage and playing with people, he's touring with James, he's played with the Killers, he's played with Pet Shop Boys, he's someone who gets work all the time and people enjoy obviously working with him. Morrissey still tours, makes a ton of money, but I've never heard anyone say, you know who I'm dying to work with? Morrissey, because he seems like such a little ray of sunshine. So they're not going to tour, but not because Johnny Marr was like too busy to read his emails. He was like, yeah, no. Mm-hmm. It's like those political ads, stop to end. Mm-hmm. So that's that. It's not happening. Not because of Morrissey, but because of Morrissey. It's not happening, and life will go on. The Cure are putting out an album next in a week.
Are you excited about that?
No, I was never a Cure fan.
I was never a fan either.
But I will say this. I was walking down the street the other day, as I like to do, and there was this young woman sitting on a motorbike blasting music, and I was like, oh my God, what are you listening to? This is so cool. She goes, it's The Cure. So I like The Cure in bits and bobs.
Yeah, they have some songs that I thought were cool.
They definitely
I was never like a hardcore fan, but I appreciate the legacy and understand why they are important to people.
And I like what
when
Robert
I was in
Smith
college,
does.
you know, like that was like
you couldn't escape them. You couldn't escape them.
Absolutely.
And like I said, when I saw them at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, they blew the roof off the place. Yeah. So I have no problem with them. But, you know, this is everybody.
And I think the record will probably be great.
It'll probably be great. You don't wait that long.
And
you
come
don't
out with a shit record. Yeah, it'll probably
and
be
all
great.
These groups are sorry. I have a feeling Psychedelic Furs have a record coming out because they're touring. Jesus
I was going to say, aren't they on
Chain.
the road? They've been on the road.
Yeah, they're on the road, Jesus and Mary Chain. You don't do this when you're in your 50s and have a family for the sake of just doing it. I mean, that's my feeling. There's got to be sort of a reason. All right, so Dolly Parton has responded to Beyonce not being nominated for a CMA. I love Dolly, but isn't this like Dolly's role now to defend the defenseless? I love Dolly, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But isn't that kind of her role now to be like...
And she's selling a lot of stuff. She's got wine now, makeup, a cookbook, baking stuff. I'm like, you know what? Get it, Dolly. You better be like...
Go get it, Dolly. Is she still have Dollywood? Is that still around, Dollywood?
Yes.
I've heard it's great.
One of the most popular amusement parks in the country.
I love that. I love the idea. I am just trying to figure out how Shabuzi is her godson.
I mean, she's the mother to us all.
But I mean, really... Was Shabuzi's family like Nashville?
I think his father maybe is a musician or something.
It's got to be. What I mean? It's got to be something like that because
it's something like that. Yeah.
I don't think she adopted him. I don't think she's like the country music Angelina Jolie and saw like a kid and said, "You must be mine." No, I think that's great, and I hope she. Yeah, I mean, we love Dolly, but it's just sort of, what's she going to say? Of course, she has to say that. But you know what? To her credit, Dolly Parton is sort of the conscience of country music in a lot of ways because she can do whatever the hell she wants to do. She could come out tomorrow. She won't, but she could come out tomorrow and endorse Kamala and Nashville wouldn't say boo. Because I think it's pretty obvious that who she supports.
Well, you know, she's never made she doesn't really talk politics and she's never endorsed anybody in her career. It's just not, she likes to be a neutralizing force. And you know what? We need those too. You know, I know everybody wants everyone to come out and say something. I was like, it's just, people are so high. It's just weird. I hate that everything's so weird.
The statement about Beyonce, in a way, in the tips, she's not saying it, but you know, when she goes into the booth, I will almost 100% bet she's not voting for Trump.
Right.
Or never has, because the way she lives her life, the fans the music she supports, the artists that she champions, the crowds that she gets. She's not getting the MAGA crowd.
Well, they love her. Everybody loves Dolly. That's the thing, though. Everyone loves Dolly.
Right.
She's one of those ones that, because she's never political, everybody loves her.
Right.
You know,
everybody. I don't think that's why. But I think that, well, anyway, I just want to figure out how she's Shabuzi's godmother. And I know how she's Miley's, but I would like to figure this out. And that is going to be my task for the thing. All right. So in today's, like, who would have thunk this coming? Jane's Addiction, get on stage. Perry Fellow punches out Dave Navarro. Goodbye.
Well, he tries. He didn't get him. He didn't make contact.
He didn't get him.
Yeah. And now they're saying that he is getting neurological help, that there's something medically wrong.
I'll tell you what's medically wrong with him.
They said that it's not the rumors that everybody's saying, which everybody was saying it's drugs. So they've denied that. We always have to go with what people deny, right? If we can all feel certain things. It looks a little nuts.
Yeah. So maybe from all the plastic surgery, his neurons are messed up?
I'm just like, okay. 500 years after your big moment of guys being like making records, we're fighting on stage. It just felt...
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Dave Navarro, I'm sure, is not a walk in the park either. And you have two very big egos up there. And Perry Farrell was never at his height. Jane's Addiction is a band that meant nothing to me. One good single, but they mean a lot to a lot of people. You know, they're very, very important in the scene in a lot of ways. So neither one of these guys were like sunshine and happiness to begin with. But Perry Farrell has always had a reputation from the beginning of his career, when he still had his own face and pre-Lollapalooza, founding Lollapalooza. He always had he was problematic. Okay, that said, he was a kid or younger then. If you look at the video of the performance in Boston where it all came to almost blows, yes, the guitars are very loud, but I don't think that's Dave Navarro going, drown out the vocals. If you're a professional, you don't get pissed because the mix is bad. And if you get pissed because the mix is bad, you don't take it out on the guy who's playing the guitar, who's the second selling point. Well, anyway, I could care less. I mean, all right, bye, sorry. Good. You're both wealthy. But Perry Farrell, what neurological? What neurology makes you? What neurology? Then why is he going into rehab? Why is he going to the hospital if he has a What is that going to do?
Well, like if there's something wrong with his
neurons.
Listen. I just know what the wife said. That's all I know.
Have you ever, I think we posted it, but there's a fascinating article by a woman who basically was the Jane. She's Jane. She basically was the muse for the group and wrote, and she got written out of that history too. But yeah, life will go on without Perry Farrell. He did Lollapalooza. He gets kudos for that. But neurological... This has, and everybody's like, oh, this is going to be what Oasis is like. No, it's not, because these guys have made a very conscious decision to get back together for a very, I will say this, though, and then we'll get to it. When, at first I was like, oh, Oasis, his divorce bill. No, neither one of those guys are hurting for cash. He could sell his publishing tomorrow and be worth $1 billion. And I think allegedly they're announcing North American dates next week. Allegedly.
Kylie Minogue's going on tour. She's going to allegedly announce some North American dates as well for 2025.
Right. So, and I think if they were smart, they'd bring Kylie out on stage with them.
I mean, I think Kylie should come out on stage with everybody.
I know.
She's my least problematic diva.
Oh, no, she's fantastic. Let me tell you something. I've never listened to a ton of her music, but all you have to do is see her on talk shows. She's in on the joke. She's charming. She's open and honest and fun, and she's every rocker's dream girl.
It's true.
She is to white rock guys what Janet was to black R&B guys.
It's true. Yeah.
Everyone wanted to be with Kylie, either literally be with her or record, because she has cred, because she's never been anything but herself.
It's true.
And she looks great, and I think it would be, good for her. Yay. What are you listening to?
Well, because he's announced a tour, and I really want to go. He's playing here like October 10th at the Garden. I've been playing a lot of Stevie Wonder. He announced
You've never seen him before?
I've never seen Stevie Wonder.
That is your version of me never seeing Beyonce.
I've never seen Stevie Wonder.
All right, I will tell you, as someone who has seen him 3 times, because I was doing a story on him. I saw him at Radio City many years ago. I saw him at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, and then I saw him somewhere else. Beg, borrow, and steal to go see him, even if his voice is not 100%.
No, he sounds great. I just heard him singing.
Beg, borrow, and steal.
No, let me just tell you something. And I've been digging through the records again, and it's like, man, I feel like I
Thank you, Harry Wenger. Say thank you. Thank you, Harry.
Oh, yeah, he sent me The Secret Life of Plants,
I know.
which is one. And now I realize I have one more vinyl that I need to get that I'm missing from my collection. I need the Jungle Fever soundtrack. And
Harry, if you're listening.
Yeah, I need the Jungle Fever soundtrack.
Wait, that was on Motown, right? That was on Motown.
Yes. And it's not my favorite, but I realized these 3 words is on there. And these 3 words.
Oh, it is it? That's a great song.
What? The fact that I've never seen him, and it's just, I've been digging through his music. Good. And then I've been, for some reason.
I was waiting for you to say that. That's my drinking game for someone who doesn't drink.
I got in the mood to listen to Cheryl Lynn, so I started pulling out Cheryl Lynn albums. And man, that's another one. Like, I think people don't talk about enough. Her vocals, that voice, man, Cheryl, and she produced a bunch of her shit too. She was a woman who was producing some of her albums and her songs. and just having full sort of like, so I've been in my, I've been less these days into my questionable vocals, high production value.
And you've decided to listen to people who can actually sing.
And I've been in a phase of listening to people who can actually sing.
Speaking of Cheryl Lynn, and then I'll talk to about, I sort of inexplicably started listening to, they showed the Luther Vandross documentary on Saturday night in a park in Brooklyn.
I had tickets. I didn't go.
I didn't go because you cannot laugh when I say this. I cannot sit up on a blankie for 2 hours. My back hurts and I don't have chairs.
And I couldn't lift my butt off my sofa to go to sit on a blanket.
And I have to tell you, I do not like sitting in parks with bugs trying to sit up straight with my bad back. But it is, so obviously it's found a distributor.
And you didn't want to see your name when it comes across the screen because you're
I know. I'm having an Amy revival.
You are Renaissance Part 3.
I am Renaissance. I'm having an Amy Sance.
You're Amy-sance 3.
Amy Sance. We started the other day. I was just like listening to The Raw and the Cook. Fine Young Cannibals.
Oh, wow. They were
What a great album.
Why did they stop? Why did they stop?
I'm going to assume that Roland Gift was a piece of work.
You think?
Doesn't he give off piece of work to you?
Because I feel like they were the moment, and then it just wasn't.
Those 2 albums.
Yeah, really good.
Remember he was working on a solo record? Remember that? Any day now, it's coming out. And he started doing acting, and he has done nothing. I mean, has he done they became really big producers, and they produced like one of the best Al Green records ever that was never released in the United States. It was released in a very kind of Americanized version, but Don't Look Back. But the overseas version is 100 times better because the American version inexplicably sticks Curtis Stigers. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how in the U.S. they go, oh, wait, we have this guy on our label. Put him in the record. It's like,
right.
And Al Green is probably like, sure, whatever.
You need this for this market. It's always that kind of conversation.
Because you need the adult contemporary jazz market, which is so huge. Ron the Cook. Oh my! I mean, it's really pretty much like hit after hit after hit, and well, everybody knows how huge they were. Have they ever gotten back together to tour? Have they done any of that stuff?
No. Let me look it up.
So.
Let me see.
I'm going to assume, because I'm a girl filled with hope, that Roland Gift still looks pretty good. Which would be contingent upon them getting back.
Yeah, their years active were, it seems like maybe once. Their years active were 1984 to 1992, and then again in 1996. But that's it.
Yeah.
And they had 2 U.S. number ones. You know, She Drives Me Crazy and Good Thing were both number one records.
Good Thing is so good. And, there is nobody who's ever sounded like them. I mean, their production, those guys are. Well,
I look up Roland. They say his year's active, and this is 1978 to present. So what's he doing now, music?
And those are the guys we talked about it with our friend Daniel Rachel with the Two Tone book. The producer guys are who come from Two Tone.
You know what he's saying? 10 years after his first Hootenanny appearance, you know how Jules Holland does his annual Hootenanny?
I love that.
He, on December 22, January 1st, 2023, he sang Suspicious Minds and Good Thing. So I guess he's still out there singing.
I guess, but those guys came out of
he's
English
acting.
Beat.
He's acting.
He's acting. To be My Beautiful Laundrette, come on. Wasn't that him? My Beautiful Laundrette?
Was he in My Beautiful Laundrette? Let's see.
Or Buddha in Suburbia. He's in one of those. Isn't he in My Beautiful Laundrette? He was gorgeous. That's all. I know that's not a criteria for being listening to. Well, anyway, that's what I've been listening to. He was gorgeous. I mean, he was gorgeous. All right. So that's what I'm listening to. That and the voices inside of my head. All right.
Oh, he did put out a solo album, Roland Gift, in 2022. Not 2020, in 2002. 2002. But it seems like none of the single wasn't a hit.
When they kept saying it's like it's coming, and it was like, where is it?
It's that thing that sometimes people don't realize when folks really love you in a group. They love everything together. The actual secret sauce is all of you together. And then, you know, people leave because they are the lead singer and then they never have that same success. And it's like, right, because you had the secret sauce. It was all of you together.
No, it's a great, I just thought, like I said, I listened to it and I went, God, these songs are freaking good. They were great songs, great videos, great vibe. The whole thing was just like, and it hasn't aged. That's the thing. Some stuff you listen to from the 80s and the 90s, like, whoa, okay, this sounds super dated.
I just said to a friend of mine, I was like, you know, I never go back and listen to any of the work that I've done. But recently I was cleaning out, you know, a hard drive. And I was listening to some of the remixes, and some I'm like, wow, this is fucking amazing. It still sounds great. It's still giving. And I listened to some, and I'm like, why did you pick that? That's It's like, you know, it was of the time, but my ears now I hear it.
It's like looking at pictures of ourselves and go, whoa, what were you wearing?
But I think back to some, and man, I did some bangers, man, that still fucking hold up, and I love it.
Well, good.
And with that being said, you know what it is, people. You have been here with us. We're at 201 show. I cannot believe we're in the 200s.
I know.
This show is kind of crazy. We're really getting excited for Nick's season because we're going to come and give you our second Nick situation.
Julius Randle's not coming to training camp, they said. I posted it.
Why not?
He's not going to be able to. He's still injured. Is he still not? Mitchell Robinson is another. We needed to trade Mitchell Robinson. All right.
Like no, we didn't. Julius was a part of our resurgence. I think Julius, when he comes back at full speed and health,
I think I posted. He's not gone.
He'll be all right. I mean, but Mitchell Robinson is going to miss months still from another surgery, right?
All I know is it's going to be a season of those delicious roommates podcasts with Jalen, and there is nobody funnier than Jalen and Josh, because Josh doesn't give a fuck and Jalen is really trying to be a good guy and hold it together and keep his endorsements, whereas Josh is just like love them so much.
Well, I have a friend who told me he might have a ticket for me for the opening night game at Madison Square Garden, and Knicks opening night when they're playing. I think. Why
are you saying that to me and torturing me?
And so
why are you saying that to me?
He listens to the show, and I'm reminding him that on his birthday he told me that. So yeah.
Why are you fucking with me? Why do you do that to me? Don't make me get on a train and come up.
I haven't been to a Knicks game in
I don't care, but you should. You're supposed to do it and then tell me after fact. Oh. Now I'm going to be sitting there thinking about all the mean things.
And he got really good seats. They're like,
all right,
in that case, you know what the deal is, folks. Thank you for listening to us every week on the Pantheon Podcast Network, the Pantheon Podcast music and social commentary and sports
social commentary, baby. Oh yeah,
all the things, all of the things. And you know what it is. Tell a friend. Tell an
enemy. We don't care.
Stranger,
tell anybody.
Tell everybody.
Tell a tubby. We don't care. Just tell a tubby. Tell a friend. Arsenio, if you're listening, I can't wait to meet you, because I feel like after a rocky start, and I will admit you scared me a little bit, if I can be so blunt, you did kind of scare me, but now I feel that you and I are actually simpatico, and one day we will meet and we will be best friends. Thank you. And the rest of you're already my friend. But I just wanted to say that because I really now I'm like, I like this Arsenio.
Yeah. You guys, if you're not on our Facebook page,
I'm going to let you finish.
You're missing everything. We're there a lot. And you know what it is? We'll see you next week on the Pantheon Podcast Network. Bye.
The Jeremiah Show is proudly featured on Pantheon Podcasts. Don't miss an exciting episode of The Jeremiah Show. You're invited to the world of pop culture, music icons, and food gods. Find Jeremiah at thejeremiahshow.com or on all social networks and back catalogs at Linktree, Jeremiah D. Higgins.
I am Miles Zuniga from Fastball.
And we are a girl named Tom.
Hi, I'm Marielle Hemingway.
Hi, this is Chef Melissa King from Top Chef All Stars.
Hi there, everybody. This is Ann H.
Hi, I'm Shadow Stevens. I'm having a great time on The Jeremiah Show, the greatest show in the history of the world.
The Jeremiah Show is brought to you by Evolve Entertainment Network, Pantheon Podcasts, and Radio Candy Media.
I do hope you enjoyed that interview. I'm sorry that Jeremiah is so hopeless. I did made a real effort to sort of get through the sludge and the drudgery and the cliches and the second-rate ideas. I hope I didn't disappoint you too much. And as far as Jeremiah is concerned, do write in, because if you do, we can do something about this.